Strengthen friendships with good listening skills. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe and ring the bell for more videos. Good listening skills are vital to healthy relationships. Whether you're strengthening a relationship, resolving a conflict, or offering support to a friend facing a crisis, good listening skills can be a lifeline to peace. Learn how to be a truly supportive listener, and you may find yourself surrounded by others who are able to do the same. 7 ways to cope with a crisis. Here are some important steps to developing good listening skills. Here's how. Listen, listen, listen. Ask your friend what's wrong, and really listen to the answer. Let them vent their fears, frustrations, and other important feelings, maintaining eye contact and showing that you're interested in what they have to say. Resist the urge to give unsolicited advice, and just let them get it out. Reframe what you hear. Summarize and repeat back your understanding of what they're saying, so they know you're hearing them, and focus on the emotions they might be feeling. For example, if your friend is talking about family problems, you might find yourself saying, "It looks like things are getting pretty hostile. You sound like you're feeling hurt." Ask about feelings. Ask them to expand on what they're feeling and why. Asking about their feelings provides a good emotional release and might be more helpful than just focusing on the facts of their situation. Keep the focus on them. Rather than delving into a related story of your own, keep the focus on them until they feel better. You can reference something that happened to you if you bring the focus back to them quickly. They will appreciate the focused attention, and this will help them feel genuinely cared for and understood. Help brainstorm. Rather than giving advice at the beginning, which cuts off further exploration of feelings and other communication, wait until they've gotten their feelings out and then help them brainstorm solutions. If you help them come up with ideas and look at the pros and cons of each, they're likely to come up with a solution they feel good about. Or they might feel better after just being able to talk and feel heard. Press play for advice on listening. Hosted by Editor-in-Chief and Therapist Amy Morin, LCSW, this episode of the Very Well Mind podcast shares the value of listening to others, featuring psychiatrist Mark Golston. Follow now, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, RSS. Tips. Stay present. Sometimes people feign listening, but they're really just waiting for their friend to stop talking so they can say whatever they've been mentally rehearsing while they've been pretending to listen. People can usually sense this, and it doesn't feel good. Also, they tend to miss what's being said because they're not focused. Don't give advice. I've mentioned this a few times already, but it's important because unsolicited advice can actually create stress. It's common to want to immediately give advice and fix your friend's problem. Unless it's specifically requested, don't. While you're trying to help, what would work for you might not work for your friend. Also, advice can feel condescending. Unless they ask directly for advice, your friend probably just wants to feel heard and understood, and then find their own solutions. Trust the process. It might feel a little scary to listen to feelings before diving into solutions, and hearing your friend talk about upset feelings might even make you feel helpless. But usually offering a supportive ear and sitting with your friend in an uncomfortable place is the most helpful thing you can do, and once the feelings are cleared out, the solutions can start coming. Let things even out over time. With all this focus on your friend's problems, it might be difficult not to focus equal time on your own. Relax in the knowledge that, when you need a friend, your friend will likely be a better listener for you. If you're consistently doing all the giving, you can reevaluate the dynamics of the relationship. But being a good listener can make you a stronger, more caring person, and bring a more supportive angle to your relationships. What is active listening? Active listening is a pattern of listening that keeps you engaged with your conversation partner in a positive way. It is the process of listening attentively while someone else speaks, paraphrasing and reflecting back what is said, and withholding judgment and advice. When you practice active listening, you make the other person feel heard and valued. It's a solid foundation for any successful conversation in any setting, whether at work, at home, or in social situations. How to practice active listening. Active listening involves more than just hearing someone speak. Here are some active listening techniques to master. Point 1. Pay attention and show it. Concentrate fully on what is being said. Listen with all your senses and give your full attention to the speaker. Put away your phone, ignore distractions, avoid daydreaming, and shut down your internal dialogue. To show the person you're truly tuned in, look at them and be mindful of nonverbal behaviors. Use open, non-threatening body language. Avoid folding your arms. Smile, lean in, and nod at key junctures. Consciously control your facial expressions, avoiding any that convey negative impressions. Making eye contact is especially important. In general, aim to maintain it for 60% to 70% of the time you spend listening. Reflect what you hear. Paraphrase what the person has said, rather than offering unsolicited advice or opinions. For example, you might say, in other words, what you are saying is that you're frustrated, or I'm hearing that you're frustrated about this situation. Summarize what you've heard. Mirroring what the person has said helps them feel validated and understood. Withhold judgment. Remain neutral and non-judgmental in your responses so that the person feels safe enough to continue sharing their thoughts. Make the conversation a safe zone where the person can trust they won't be shamed, criticized, blamed, or otherwise negatively received. Ask open-ended questions. Avoid yes or no questions. They often produce dead-end answers. Instead, ask open-ended questions about the person to show you are interested in them and to encourage thoughtful, expansive responses. If you'd like to better understand something the person has said, ask for clarification. But don't focus so much on insignificant details that you miss the big picture. Be patient. Don't interrupt, fill periods of silence with speech, finish the person's sentences, or top the story, for example, saying that reminds me of the time I. Similarly, listen to understand, not to respond. That is, don't prepare a reply while the other person is still speaking. The last thing they say might change the meaning of what they've already said. Don't change the subject abruptly. This conveys boredom and impatience. When you listen actively, you are fully engaged and immersed in what the other person is saying. Much like a therapist listening to a client, you are there to act as a sounding board rather than to jump in with your own ideas and opinions about what is being said. What active listening sounds like. Below is an example of active listening. Lisa, I'm sorry to dump this on you, but I had a fight with my sister and we haven't spoken since. I'm upset and don't know who to talk to. Jody, no problem. Tell me more about what happened. Lisa, well, we were arguing about what to do for our parents' anniversary. I'm still so angry. Jody, oh, that's tough. You must feel upset that you're not speaking because of it. Lisa, yes, she just makes me so angry. She assumed I would help her plan this elaborate party. I don't have time. It's like she couldn't see things from my perspective at all. Jody, wow, that's too bad. How did that make you feel? Lisa, frustrated, angry, maybe a bit guilty that she had all these plans and I was the one holding them back. Finally, I told her to do it without me. But that's not right, either. Jody, sounds complicated. I bet you need some time to sort out how you feel about it. Lisa, yes, I guess I do. Thanks for listening, I just needed to vent. Benefits of active listening. Establishing the habit of active listening can have many positive impacts in key areas of your life. Relationships. In all kinds of relationships, active listening helps you understand a person's point of view and respond with empathy. Being an active listener in a relationship means that you recognize the conversation is more about your partner than about you. This is especially important when your partner is distressed. Your ability to listen actively to a partner going through a difficult time is a valuable skill. It helps keep you from offering opinions and solutions when the other person really just wants to be heard. Work. Active listening at work is particularly important if you are in a supervisory position or interact frequently with colleagues. It helps you understand problems and collaborate to develop solutions. It also showcases your patience, a valuable asset in any workplace. Effective problem-solving strategies and common obstacles. Social situations. Active listening techniques such as reflecting, asking questions, seeking clarification, and watching body language help you develop relationships as you meet new people. People who are active and empathic listeners are good at initiating and maintaining conversations. Active listening skills can help improve your conversational ability too, but if you have social anxiety, it won't eliminate the symptoms. Getting professional help for your anxiety can help your active listening skills shine. Get advice from the Very Well Mind podcast. Hosted by Editor-in-Chief and therapist Amy Morin, LCSW, this episode of the Very Well Mind podcast shares the value of listening to others, featuring psychiatrist Mark Golston. Follow now, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, RSS. How to encourage active listening. We all have been in situations where our listeners were distracted or disinterested. Here are a few ways to deal with this situation. Find a topic that interests you both. This works particularly well for small talk as you get to know one another. Model good listening skills. Be a good listener yourself. By seeing you demonstrate active listening, that person might just become a better listener. Exit the conversation if the other person is clearly uninterested in hearing you speak. A word from very well. Active listening is an important social skill that has value in many social settings. Practice it often, and it will become second nature. If you find the techniques difficult, consider what might be getting in your way, such as social anxiety or problems with inattention. If you find that you struggle with listening, you might benefit from professional treatment, social skills training, or self-help books on interpersonal skills.